This is John Jantsch, author of Duct Tape Marketing and the Ultimate Marketing Engine, and I would like to invite you in this presentation to rethink the customer journey. One of the things that the global pandemic of 2020 showed us, a lot of the businesses that survived and thrived really have come to understand. It's shown such a bright light on this idea that in good times, a lot of times businesses thrive and survive just by being in the right place at the right time. But in tough times, they survive and thrive by being important in the lives of their customers. And yet, this model, the funnel that basically is a series of linear steps to get people to do what we want them to do to become customers, is still the prevailing practice today. I want to share a few statistics about how marketing has changed over the last few years to really shine a bright light on why I think this model is broken. 61% of mobile searchers are more likely to contact a local business if they have a mobile-friendly site. So we got to have a website, of course, but now it's got to be mobile-friendly. 87% of potential customers won't consider businesses with low ratings. We've got to get out there and get those 5-star reviews and ratings. 64% of customers say watching a video on Facebook has influenced a purchase decision. Well, not only do we have to be on all of these social media channels, we have to be doing the various mediums and formats that they are now dictating. 92% of consumers will visit a brand's website for the first time for reasons other than making a purchase. So our website is not just a sales tool. It has many, many jobs to do. And this is what the focus of so many marketers is on today, is the tactics, the digital things, the changing formats, the new idea of the week. I want to share two more statistics that I think shine such a bright light on why we need to rethink the customer journey, why we need to rethink this model. 86% of buyers will pay more for a better customer experience. They admitted to paying more, higher price for a better experience. We value that now more than ever. 83% of small business owners claim that their main source of new business is referrals. Probably one of the most old school analog approaches to generating business that ever existed. And yet, what we misunderstand about this statistic is how people make referrals, how people choose to follow up on referrals and even engage a company that's been referred is the most significant change. In fact, I want to suggest that the thing that's changed the most about marketing in general is how people choose to become customers, and that this linear straight path where we create demand is no longer valid. I want to suggest that the customer journey looks a little more like this, and that many of the ways in which people choose to do business with and engage companies is somewhat out of our hands, and that our job today as marketers is less about creating demand and more about organizing the behavior that our prospects and customers actually want to engage in with the companies that they do business with. I want to introduce a new model for the customer journey called the marketing hourglass. Now, if you think about the hourglass shape, it borrows certainly from the funnel. There's nothing inherently wrong with the funnel. We do have to get people to know about us and some smaller percentage to become customers. But for so many marketers, that's where it ends. And the marketing hourglass metaphor suggests that that's where we then have the opportunity to flip the funnel for the bottom half of the hourglass shape, and that's where the real opportunity to grow and scale with our customers, to where the point where the greatest source of our leads becomes happy customers. So think about your own buying experience to validate kind of these behaviors that we want to go through. If you have a problem, you want to come to know somebody who can solve it. Certainly as you start your investigation, you make quick, snap decisions and judgments about, do I like what they're saying? Do I like their message? Do I like their website? You may not think that that's what you're thinking, but subconsciously, we're all doing it. We're making snap judgments. And then once we start to decide, this might be somebody I could do business with, or they might actually be able to help me. Now we want to understand, who else have they helped? Do I trust that I'll get the result? Can they prove that I'll get result? Are they seen as an expert by other people, third parties? Once we make that decision, now we might actually be to the point where we start thinking, what would it be like to work with this business? How could we try them? And we're all familiar with the 30-day software trial, but effectively, we're trying a business anytime we engage them. We pick up a phone and call them. We fill out a form. Those are all ways that we are trying subconsciously a business. You think about all the times you've decided not to go a certain direction because you had a bad trial when you did those things. Now, we all want the buying experience to stay just as high. I mean, we immediately have that buyer's remorse. And so we want to know that the communication and the onboarding and the expectations are really met and spelled out just like they were promised in our marketing. And I love it when I find a business that takes care of my needs, exceeds my expectations. When I need that again, I don't go looking. I just go right back to them because we all crave that convenience of just being able to repeat the process again without starting over. And as human beings, finally, I think we're all wired to refer businesses, or at least to talk about businesses that exceed our expectations. We do it for many reasons. For social capital, we do it because we want to be seen as somebody who's in the know. But I think that it is just kind of in our DNA to talk about businesses that really exceed our expectations. So the idea of this framework then would be that we need to intentionally look at our business. We need to intentionally look at these stages and say, what are we doing from a content standpoint, from a process standpoint, from a campaign standpoint to guide people and make it easy for people to logically move through these stages. So I'm going to go through a map of some of the common things that end up in these stages. And most people can answer what goes in the no stages. These first three stages are how you attract ideal clients, profitable clients, and really create deep relationships. Now, everybody's familiar with getting awareness. I mean, advertising, search engine optimization, social media, your community participation, even referrals, sales outreach, networking. These most people know these stages, but what they skip are what come in between. Are you promising to solve that ideal customer's greatest problem with your message? Do your brand elements match? Does your story match what I expect? Is there content that I can try out and find useful? What about just the user experience on your website, the navigation, the site load time? These are things we have to intentionally think about as ways to move people to the next stage. And then, of course, trust, depending upon what you're selling, might be the most important. Are there visual cues of other people that you've helped? Certifications and training that you have, places where your content has appeared in the media, testimonials, case studies, social proof, reviews. These are all things that we have to intentionally think about building as part of the journey. These are things that need to show up in all of our marketing as part of the journey. Now, once a buyer or potential buyer goes through these stages, then they start engaging our organization. And this is where we have what I call the bridge to long-term success in try and buy. A lot of people call this sales, where know, like, and trust maybe is called marketing. We are trying businesses in so many ways that we don't even realize that again, we have to focus on these ideas as marketers to make sure that we are intentionally having great opportunities for great experiences for phone calls, evaluations, forms that are submitted, trial offers, low-cost options. These all need to be part of the marketing channel for us at this stage. And then, of course, when's the last time you looked at how your transaction process worked? Do you have an onboarding process, an orientation process? Do you have a process to effectively and consistently communicate results, progress, even setbacks? What about content, continuing to add content after somebody becomes a customer? Probably the greatest missed opportunity for the use of content is actually after somebody becomes a customer. And that includes in the repeat process. What's our retention? How are we continuing to educate? Do you have special or exclusive offers just for customers? Don't you hate it when new customers only get the deal? What's your cross promotions? What are your ladder up offerings? Some percentage of your ideal customers, your best customers, would love to do 10 times the business with you. Some smaller percentage of them would love to do 100 times more business with you. But are you focused on discovering how you can serve them, how you can actually mature with them? And then finally, refer. That statistic that I cited earlier today in this presentation that the majority of businesses get the majority of their new business by way of referral, and yet very few do anything about it. What are you doing to stay top of mind? What are you doing to treat your clients who already refer business to you like champions? What's your strategic partner offer? Sometimes the best way to get more referrals is actually find people who have a lot of your ideal customers. Obviously, non-competing businesses who also serve your ideal customer could become a tremendous referral source. Are there ways that some of those strategic partners could do co-marketing with you? In the book, The Ultimate Marketing Engine, one of the steps I talk about and unpack this entire idea of creating referral masterminds and teaching your business customers how to get more referrals. I guarantee you, if you do that one step, you can almost count on those folks referring business your way. So that's a quick romp through the marketing hourglass, and hopefully you see how this framework can really be a useful tool to identify the gaps and the projects and the places where you could make improvement. You know, I would never be one to suggest that there was a positive from the pandemic, but there's no question that one of the opportunities that was opened up is that people were no longer resistant to change. Innovation is something that people welcome right now. We had no choice, frankly. Now is the time to reinvent your entire customer journey, your entire customer experience, because people have never been hungrier and never been more open to innovation. Now is the time to do it. I want to introduce one last concept. I don't know if any of you had this, but I own a members only jacket. I had one back in the 80s when they were really a thing. Maybe you had one as well. I use this as my metaphor for introducing what is a concept I think the world is hungry for today. What if we came to view our customers more like members? Now, I don't mean a membership program, certainly don't mean Costco. I mean, those are good business models. I'm really talking more about a point of view that suggests, what if you had an organization that people who called themselves customers felt like they were joining? You know, when we join an organization, we're more likely to engage with that organization as opposed to just find who can solve our problem. As a member of an organization we believe in, we are investing in ourselves rather than making a purchase. Can you imagine somebody thinking about your business that way, that they are going to become a customer so they can invest in themselves? Typically, people who are members of an organization they believe in have a tendency to evangelize that organization rather than just refer that organization. What if instead of focusing on the transaction, we went to work on understanding and creating the transformation that we thought in terms of taking our customers from where they are today to where they want to be? In the Ultimate Marketing Engine, I introduced the concept of the customer success journey and the customer success track. And essentially it starts by understanding the stage that most of your customers come to you today, and the characteristics, the way that you can actually recognize that they are a good fit for your business, and certainly the problems and the challenges that they are facing. Then I want to suggest that you think in terms of, what are the milestones that if we got them to accomplish these milestones, got them to check off these milestones and then the associated tasks, what would be the promise of them moving to that next stage? And the beauty of milestone questions is there's really only two answers, yes or no. So if you can create a list of milestones that says, have they done this? Have they done this? Do they do this? And you can answer yes or no to those. And if the answer is no, you just find the associated tasks. You can probably almost guarantee that people are going to get a result in your business. Now, you may have this kind of documentation and process. This may be how you actually get your work done. But what I want to suggest is that this is something that we might be able to take to the next level. Now, in the Ultimate Marketing Engine, I give you our complete roadmap, our complete success track for marketing. But my real goal is to introduce this idea to pretty much any business in any industry, that if we understand the stage that our customers come to us and the characteristics and the promise, what do we have to develop in terms of the milestones to take them to the next stage and then the next stage? How can we actually mature with our customers? How can we make the mission of our business to become guiding people from where they are today to where they want to go? And think about how this might impact every element of your business. I know this is presented as a marketing idea, but couldn't it also impact as I stated, the mission of your business, your messaging, even your sales. Think about how important a sales message would be that said, yes, we're going to fix your problem today, but here's where we're going to take you. Here's the roadmap. It's certainly going to impact the training in your organization, the delegation in your organization, the service offerings, maybe even the hiring as well. I think this idea is important enough that it could actually become the overarching strategy for any business that employs it. I want to leave you with one last idea. You're all familiar with the term YOLO, you only live once. Well, as I was writing this book, I was listening to my favorite podcast, and one of the features of this podcast is people could come on and leave a message, recorded message, and the host would actually play these messages at the end of his show. Howard was a high school teacher in New York, came on and talked about this idea of YOLO. He said, my students always say that, usually before they're getting ready to do something foolish. And I try to get them to rethink about this idea, because YOLO, so much like the marketing funnel, is all about what we want to do or what we want our customers to do. And so he said, I'd like to ask you to reframe this. What if you thought in terms of you were going to go meet with a friend and you discovered that they were going to die soon, but they didn't know it and you couldn't tell them? Could you adopt a posture of Tola? They only live once. Now, I know it's kind of a dramatic idea to inject into a presentation about marketing, but didn't you feel a momentary shift in your thinking? What if we came to think about our customers that way? What if we came to think about our relationships and engagements that way? What difference could that actually bring to your business, to your life, to the world? I'd love to connect. If anything I said today didn't please you, reach out to me at john@ducttapemarketing. I've also got an offer for you. If you are viewing this and you visit theultimatemarketingengine.com and pre-order a copy of The Ultimate Marketing Engine, which is available to ship September 21st, you can come back to theultimatemarketingengine.com and get a free companion course, 6 videos of me doing the training around some of these topics. Plus, you're going to get resources. This is stuff that we do every single day. We've developed tools and resources and checklists that you can use to make some of these ideas whole and real in your business. I appreciate you listening. Thank you.